Hello and welcome back, my body language buddies. Today, in episode 39, the big question is, what does Beyoncé and Jay-Z's body language reveal about their relationship? And to solve this riddle, we will be looking at that elevator video. You know which one. We'll decode Beyoncé's facial expressions to find an important body language quirk and watch how Jay-Z's nonverbal expression reveals about how he truly feels about her. Remember that I've got a gift for you, my 100 body language tips in a free PDF that you can find right in the description. And thank you for supporting my channel. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my body language analysis and tips. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and together we'll uncover the secrets that people try to hide from us. Beyoncé and Jay-Z may be one of the most powerful celebrity couples in the world, but even they've faced challenges over the years. One of the most well-known facts is that they prefer to keep everything about their relationship private. Even back in 2003, when they were dating, she is clear about her music doing the talking.
Now, it's been rumored that you're dating Jay-Z, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't actually talk about who I'm dating, who I'm not, because I think it's important that I concentrate on the music. And when you start talking about those things, then that becomes bigger than the art.
That's the way it's been ever since. You can see that when talking about Jay-Z, she's smiling broadly. She likes him a lot. But immediately she says that she doesn't like to talk about those things. And of course, it's hard with hundreds of millions of fans wanting to know what's going on behind closed doors. And that's why the infamous elevator video became so viral. On May 2014 at the Met Gala, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, her sister Solange Knowles, and a bodyguard stepped in an elevator. As soon as the doors closed, Solange began punching and kicking Jay. There's no audio recording of the event, but no doubt, Beyoncé's sister could have been screaming too. There are many theories about what caused this attack, that Solange was angry at Jay-Z for him cheating on B, or that she was having a mental breakdown. The most relevant body language clue to clarify things here is that despite Solange's actions, there's no visible reaction from her sister. It looks like she's frozen. Now, this kind of non-reaction could happen due to two different reasons. Either Beyoncé was in shock or terrified about what was going on, or she was so used to these anger displays from her sister that it was normal for her. But either way, the fact that she doesn't even flinch deserves further analysis, and for that, it's relevant to define how is the relationship between the two sisters. Solange and Beyoncé have their own musical careers, and the former has earned her way through the music industry. Any kind of jealousy between the two was prevented by their mom at a very young age, as she brought both siblings to therapy so they could learn to manage any hard feelings they could have to one another. They also have a great professional dynamic. Solange has written songs for her sister, Beyoncé has made clear statements that she's her biggest fan, they had no trouble babysitting for each other, and that relationship has been maturing over the years. This is important because there's also the anecdote of Solange being bullied at school when Destiny's Child, which was Beyoncé's former group, was starting to explode on the radio. Well, Destiny's Child, the group, made presence at the school looking to deal with the menacing bully. Now that will be a great reboot for a High School Musical saga if you also add Tarantino as the director. But this should be enough to understand how protective are both sisters of each other. So if Solange attacked Jay-Z because he cheated on Beyoncé, there's something really hard to understand. You're a successful man, married to a successful woman, both parents of a little girl at the time. What went wrong? We need to go to the source and analyze the exact words he used to explain his behavior. He blamed his infidelity on the way he was raised and said he was forced to go into survival mode. Well, it's even harder to picture the term survival mode when your net worth at the time is $300 million. But okay, money isn't everything, right? As he explained, you have to survive. So you go into survival mode, and then what happens? You shut down all emotions. So even with women, you gotta shut down emotionally so you can connect. And then all the things happens from there, infidelity. So you basically shut down for everything except for pussy. I think that's something that Jude Law would approve. But then what happened in that elevator becomes clearer. But we still don't know why Beyoncé didn't react when Solange used Jay-Z as a punching bag. And here it's important to notice the way she talks that will reveal something about her personality. And you'll catch that clue in the next clip.
And I would not be the woman I am if I did not go home to that man. And it just gives me such a foundation, and you know, we were friends first for a year and a half before we went on any date on the phone for a year and a half.
You already noticed that she doesn't like to be talking about her relationship. She's extremely private about it. But at the same time, those stops, those pauses that she takes between words is a staple of how she talks in interviews. She's got extreme self-control, and that could be one of the reasons why she had to resort to an alter ego to completely express herself on stage. Sasha Fierce was basically Beyoncé in beast mode, transforming into a third Daft Punk member. That was the nickname she adopted for her third studio album, and having an alter ego or a second personality is also really common for any kind of artist that not only feels trapped in the same route, but also need to channel one side of their personality that they want to express. Like Stephen King writing as Richard Bachman or David Bowie becoming Ziggy Stardust, Sasha Fierce was part experiment, part Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, so B had a way to express something on stage that, of course, was not her personal, control, even introvert self. That being more in control of her emotions is what helped her to stay calm in the elevator. Of course, that was not Sasha Fierce, because according to B herself, she had killed her alter ego 4 years earlier. For some reason, she thought that her husband deserved that beating, and only when she realized that Solange could hurt herself, she stepped between the two. But then, 2 years later, B dropped Lemonade, and the line that got millions talking was Becky with the good hair. So everybody was asking, who's Becky? There was a lot of speculation about the real identity of the woman referenced in that song, or if that woman existed at all, but all clues point in the direction of Rachel Roy. She was at the Met Gala that night. Some say that Solange had shouted at her earlier that Jay-Z was a bit flirty with her, that they already had some kind of argument. But the fact is that Rachel never expressly denied that she was responsible to spark that altercation in the elevator. Maybe she was enjoying the free publicity, who knows? But the fact is that if it wasn't for the elevator video, the world would have next to zero input of the personal life and struggle of Beyoncé and Jay-Z. And fans will always want to know what are those personal journeys and struggles and rifts. But the one that really got the short end of the stick was the woman that was talking to Jay-Z at a basketball game. Immediately, the Beehive Army noticed that her queen was upset with her. This woman was Nicole Curran, the wife of the owner of one of the teams, and she had invited them to the game. She was just asking what they wanted to drink. But if you've been following me, you know that body language split-second interpretations could be really wrong. Now, B was genuinely upset at that moment. She didn't like Nicole's gestures of going over her, but Nicole had no option because you can imagine the noise at the moment. There's a very simple explanation, is that most people don't like an invasion of their personal space. And it's obvious that in Beyoncé's case, she was less than thrilled to have a woman right over her, much less touching her. So Nicole had to restrict her Instagram because she received not so subtle death threats. But it was not their only NBA moment. There's also the Beyoncé glitch when she was talking with Jay-Z, and at some point you know that the topic was something that upset them both because he was holding his hand against his neck and alongside his chain. That's a pacifying gesture, just like B rocking back and forth. Something that we do when we want to reduce stress. It's just that in this case it looks like she's listening to the Wii menu music in her head. But seriously, she usually has a very natural way of speaking, like in this clip.
You know, love is the foundation of everything I do. It's inspired. My music is inspired by love, and from my family, from my husband, from my sisters, and it gives me the security and the confidence that you see on the stage.
You notice the same pauses and she uses the word foundation again. Looks like a term important to her, have something solid that she can rely on. I think that the conspiracy theories that put them right in the middle of the Illuminati are just that people are not used to celebrities of this magnitude that are not sharing every aspect of their life on social media. And that could be seen, wrongly, as being selfish. And I think it's just a couple that wants to have some kind of a private life. He's a super successful businessman and a great entertainer, and she's a super successful entertainer and a great businesswoman. So it's only logical that with everything that they're actively doing with their lives, they want to keep a safe haven for their kids. I think he respects her a lot. For example, in this clip, they're both accepting an award. He talks first and he leans into the mic. When it's her turn, he takes a small step back, like presenting her and putting a hand on her back. His body language is saying that she's the star, but we know that he wasn't like this all the time. Yes, Jay-Z cheated on Beyoncé. He recognized it and she forgave him. And there's this clip from an interview with David Letterman that is important to watch.
Like you, I like to believe that we're in a better place today, but still working and communicating and growing, and proud of the father and the husband that I am today because of all the work that was done. Yeah.
Pretty much like Beyoncé, he doesn't usually address personal or family issues unless they feel absolutely comfortable. In this case, he had good chemistry with David. David spoke about his own cheating, so that invited him to open up. That lip pressing at the end, that nervousness gesture, those are signals that he still doesn't feel totally comfortable talking about this. In most interviews, Jay-Z talks soft tone, sometimes funny, sometimes serious, but he gives the nice guy vibes. But I think he knows that B has had a lot of patience with him, so he had to make the decision to apply the same work ethic to his marriage. And it seems that it paid off. All relationships demand constant work and dedication. It's something that you nurture every day, no matter what. I think what happened with B and Jay-Z at the start is that they had different value sets. This is something that I mention every now and then, but it's really important that before going further in any relationship, you compare your own values to your partner's. What are your non-negotiable values versus theirs? It's ideal that at the very least, both value sets complement each other, but in most cases people just don't pay attention to that, and when subtle differences appear, they just say, hey, opposites attract, right? But it's not that simple. I think Jay-Z realized that he had to work on a huge shift in character so he could earn his wife's trust again. But sadly, trust is like a 1,000 pieces puzzle. If you lose just one piece, it will never be the same again. By now it seems that they've managed to close that chapter and overcome his cheating. What do you think? One more thing.
See themselves. The hardest thing is seeing pain on someone's face that you caused and then have to deal with yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't, most people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to look inside yourself. And so you walk away.
Remember that I've got a gift for you, my 100 body language tips in a single free PDF that you can download right in the description. And don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my body language episodes and tips. See you next time!